Hey guys, your favorite duo is back on Marketing Gossip with season 3 and episode 2. And today we are going to talk about AI, how AI is affecting our life, our jobs, our businesses, and now the war we are facing. Hey Siddharth, I think you are also following the war. We are saying that every country, specifically Israel and Iran, they are coming up with AI videos claiming one thing or other. What is your take on it?
So first of all, I've been into wars, you know that. I absolutely love watching war movies. I watched the whole thing about World War One, World War Two, Vietnam War recently, which is also very relevant to what is happening. It's never a good thing. But for the very first time, we had a product like AI, which was taken to the billions of people across the world. And alongside that, it was the US department which came at a very later stage in the journey and asked for its access to be deployed in the war. So the implications are huge. Like it is going so fast that even military could not tap it.
Right.
Right? I mean, it took them so much time to probably think through and deploy before even like they could access that this is something which masses need. So I think it's fascinating times, and it's also troubling times. But there is so much to see what happens from here on. But my personal understanding is that its applications are going to increase manifold, and not just here, but in the other aspects of marketing. But the next thing I want to understand from you is the countries which own these AI IPs. Traditionally, we think naturally they will have a better edge, or they will be on an upper side when competing against another country. But in this case, geography became way more important than, let's say, what AI could do. And we are seeing
Right.
it. Like right now, when we are talking, we had the news that Qatar, I think LNG plant has been compromised. Like there has been bombarding from the Iran side. And it has huge implications for everyone. Right? So, do you think AI will be relevant for things like this, and it will on ground be able to compete with things where the humans are involved?
Right, right. So I believe that there are certain applications which are not possible without AI, or at least AI made it easier. So I mean, I'm not involved in all this, but what I got to read and what I got to learn is that uh, Americans used Anthropic Claude specifically and some advanced version of Claude which is not available for the public to engage or to Venezuela, right? They took out their president and very swiftly the whole thing ended, right? And they did the same in this Iran war, where the first attack was planned with the help of Anthropic, though they were not expecting the kind of retaliation Iran did. And suddenly that Anthropic's involvement or AI's involvement died down in the first 48 hours, right? But initially, when the attack happened, whether it is Venezuela or Iran, AI was a big buzzword. Everyone was talking about the supremacy of American forces and the use of AI within American forces, right? So for my understanding, yes, definitely they do have some edge, and it is evident in the war, specifically in Venezuela. Yes, you are right that maybe Iran outsmarted them with their strategy, with their maneuvers. Maybe it's a surprise for Anthropic as well. They might not have anticipated it as well as, or maybe they underestimated Iran. So other thing that I have in mind is it all builds on data and context.
There are two more points I feel here. So first is, of course, context is missing, and that's a very good point. The less you know about something, the less the AI will be helpful for you, right?
Right, right.
That's, I think that's the core of the message here. Anyone who wants to, let's say, use AI for anything in the world. Other point that I feel where they might have gone wrong is they tried to use a platform which gives you a lot of positive feedback. Like if you, as a user, if you keep using the platform again and again, it will keep on telling you that, oh, you're doing good, hey, this is good, this is better. And the second thing which I feel this, the second, let's say, ripple effect this happens is the person or the team maybe who is using it, they let go of their own discretion. And it's a very thin line, right, where you just stop using your own brain and let AI decide things for you. I mean, there are numerous examples, day-to-day examples, where people simply just copy paste certain part of the AI and publish it in the newspaper. It happened, right? And I feel this thing may have been happening in the boardrooms or war rooms for all we know, right? Someone should have intervened and talked about, hey, this is not going right. But at the very same time, they could not forecast what next things are going to happen. And that's also because in the real world, AI does not know. There are so many parameters, so many unknowns that AI cannot predict, I think, the event after event in a war like situation. So I think these are the other two things. And I feel when you are using a tool this powerful, you have to have, or you must bring your mind into the picture.
Right. The lot of the noise and the claim was that Russia did attack civilians, Ukraine did attack civilians, and this happened and that happened. They were mostly news and photographs, right? But over the last 2 years, when we are in AI era, a lot of claims by Iran and Israel are actually AI. People are
Okay.
talking about it, that this video is AI, that video is AI. I mean, suddenly one video came up where
Oh, that Netanyahu video, yes.
yes, where they came up and said that Netanyahu is alive. This is a video. Iran counterclaim was, no, we can do the same thing with our supreme leader. So this is AI, right? So I think a lot of claim and refutals are now AI based. Earlier it was
And
imagery
interesting thing, as
everything.
an audience, I don't know whether it is AI or not.
I don't know.
Like, as I think none of any person in India can categorically say whether this is correct or
Nobody
not.
knows.
And it's just whole story and making things up.
Nobody knows.
So this is also scary, by the way.
Very scary. I mean, I have seen clips where they are slowing it down frame by frame and saying, look at this expression changed and there is 4 fingers, 5 fingers. And I was like, bro, I mean, it can happen. Face expressions can change when you're talking to somebody if you slow it down frame by frame. But yeah, I mean, it can happen the other way around as well. So yes, it's a tough territory, but this is, I guess, the biggest change we can see around us, because these are the things that actually impact us on as a humanity, not as an individual. So I'll narrate an incident we have. So I was giving demo of Vessel and explaining one of our potential lead that, okay, it will suggest you which campaigns to launch, which ad sets to launch, how you can optimize your Facebook ads, your meta ads. And the guy said something beautiful that you just mentioned, that is it just praising my campaigns or will it say that this is not right? Because I was asking a question to my chatbot that can I improve my ROS by 20%? So he said, will it ever say no? And I think that is something is very important when you are dealing with AI or when you are building a product, that you need to build guardrails, enough guardrails that AI product or any service that you are using, it will not fall victim to flattery, because that's the core of it, that it want to agree with you. So you will eventually end up using more of it.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. But I will add one pointer here. So I feel any AI product that anyone is using, they have to have a layer where before implementing his suggestions, you need to have a layer of expertise. And here is what do I mean by that. So we're talking about Vessel here. I have been also consistently using it and it keeps on giving suggestions. But I have always been careful before I take those suggestions and present to the client or even to on a pitch. And the reason I've seen the suggestion it gives is purely based on data sometimes, and it's not looking at the larger context or something which is which sometimes is overlooked by an AI tool. It's a war-like situation even in business, right? So sometimes it will recommend you budgets which is not appropriate. Sometimes it will recommend you, let's say, with limited data set, what is the right thing to do. So a layer of expertise is also equally important.
I agree with you on the part that a certain kind of expertise is needed, or maybe accountability is needed to vet the solution before implementation, right? But that brings me to the another point, that we are moving from war to business right now, right?
Yeah.
So we are reading news like recently Amazon said that they laid off some 60,000 employees, and they are saying we are okay because we will be implementing a lot of AI and that will bring a lot of efficiency, right? So if AI is not built for built with a guardrail, right? to suggest that this is not possible, whatever you are asking, right? So how they are thinking that they will bring efficiency, point number one. Because my take is that they are not stupid enough to do that. There must be some kind of efficiency that AI is building into the picture, right? How much of an impact we could see in our jobs, because there are numerous people out there saying that, okay, you will be jobless, you won't have job, you won't have enough money to feed your children, and maybe you are homeless, right? So I think it's very important to discuss that what kind of impact it will have in the job market and by how much.
Yeah. So I think there are two parts again here. So there are parts which have been solved by AI where that it can improve efficiency, and there are parts where it feels like it has created efficiency, but in reality it has not. Right? So I feel I was discussing it one of my friends who I was also discussing it with Shavi again. And he did mention one interesting thing, that what he could do with AI a year back, it has increased at least 4 times. He said what he is doing right now is just guiding that platform to do things. So that's one. But there is a second layer where you have to do a full video production. We have an example of, I think, Mahabharata or Ramayana, which was launched by Jio with AI movie.
It was shitty.
And in fact that's a still kind to that particular show, right? So I feel there are limitations to what platform can do right now, but the way we are implementing it on organizations also need to take into account. So for instance, all these companies who are letting go of large tech force, I understand that it has achieved a huge efficiency there, but there is a second aspect, which is I'm talking straight from the agency perspective. I don't think AI is yet to replace a lot of people there, like, but it is needed, right? And the reason is one of the largest ad network agency network in India. They recently mentioned that the largest cost that they are paying as a company is people's cost, right? Now they want to add efficiency with AI, but there is so much things to do on ground. There is so much revision. There is so much you need to also take into day-to-day communication account, which is not even being part of the productive hours of the job, right? Where you're just taking feedback, you're doing the cadences, you're doing meetings after meeting after meetings, right? So those are the parts that is a human is doing. And that's why there is not a lot of free time also for people on ground to actually use AI and get things delivered on time. And I feel there is a huge gap, right, on those particular fronts.
I agree. I think I also had a word with Shavi on this. So if I have to put number onto it, so he said that maybe in its current form, AI is replacing 50 to 60% of developers' work if he knows how to use it, right? But yeah, it's come with a quote unquote that if he knows how to use it. And I think that is also true for a lot of other jobs, be it in marketing, be it in creative fields, be it in accounting, and even I have seen products for law as well. You remember our conversations back in 2024.
Which jobs you think will be the last ones to be replaced by AI?
Maybe a lawyer?
I said maybe a lawyer won't be replaced with an AI agent. But now I think if a lawyer won't be completely replaced with an AI agent, at least maybe 50 or 60% of the work can be done by it.
That's true.
Right? I think we are there. And maybe in the near future that can be increased to 70 to 80%.
Yeah.
So I think what you are saying is essentially makes sense for me as well. One would be, it will improve the quality of the work. So I would see a lot of creative things or video production things which we were not able to do earlier are now easily done with the help of AI.
And at a lesser cost.
At a lesser cost. Yeah. So I think one is the quality. And second, the second part of it is efficiency. So definitely if one person was able to handle 2 projects earlier, now with the help of AI and efficiency, it can do 3 or 4 projects. Right. So I think in its current form, we are here on a point that it can build efficiency into the system. But my point or my worry is, for a developing country like India, where we are focused or dependent on a lot of people driven jobs, services basically, where if efficiency is also not a very good thing for the economy, right?
Yeah.
If one person is able to do a job of people, right? I think that then one essentially one job is lost.
Yeah.
So that is something I'm worried about, and that is something I think a lot of founders or a lot of agency owners or a lot of, I would say, IT service providers are worried about.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think the battle is not going to be off scale from here. The battle is going to be efficiency. I was looking at numbers of some of these large agency networks. If you notice their like revenue numbers, they're not increasing very fast. But at the same time, their profit is declining. So the other thing that has happened is they have added a lot of these AI costs, and they have not been able to kind of turn that into profits because that amount is not being passed to, let's say, the clients, and the agency is absorbing those AI costs, but they have not been able to like increase the efficiency as much as they had deemed, right? And we are talking here about one of the largest agencies. I'm not naming it in this particular podcast.
But I think that's a matter of time, no? Because in any field, if you are investing in some plant, let's say in a new manufacturing unit, right? I mean, it is not going to help your P&L in the next quarter, right? It will take some time.
Yep.
So maybe the agencies who are spending on it, who are spending on AI to build efficiency, it's not visible in their P&L sheet yet in terms of efficiency, in terms of profit, but I think it will be.
Exactly, I'm saying exactly that. I'm saying that scale may not happen. I'm saying the scale may shrink, right? But the efficiency will improve. Like they will be able to get more profit just because they're using AI. And that also means a lot of, I should not say this, but a lot of agencies which are overcharging, right? Who are able to, let's say, charge a premium. I think that particular segment is going to be reduced.
So when you say that scale is not going to be there, what exactly do you mean by scale?
So by scale, I mean, so I don't necessarily mean that the ad spends are not like going to, let's say, stagnate. It's not. Ad spends are going to increase. I'm just saying few agencies or the largest agency networks, they will not be able to tap all those all those new ad spends which are coming into the market, because that is going to be distributed. And the reason it is going to be distributed is because it will allow a lot of smaller independent agency to tap into this new ad money which is coming into the market.
But I think we can't be certain about that, no? Because if I think a technology is there, and if technology today allows me, I mean, if today I'm taking a project of ad spend no less than 5 lakh rupees a month for the sake of this example, right? And tomorrow I can do the work of 2 people or 3 people by hiring just one guy. I think I can lower it down to maybe 2 lakhs or 1 lakh a month. Why can't I do that?
In fact, that is what everyone is betting on. So WPP recently announced that it is building technology to tap into the India's MSME segment, and there is a whole story behind it. So they mentioned that in the new ad money which is going to come into the market this year is approximately 17,000 crore. But what is surprising for me as well is 10,000 crores of that amount, which is approximately 55-56%, is coming from the MSME market.
Right.
Right. Now, definitely that 7,000 crore is lesser than 10,000. So naturally WPP and rest of the bigger, larger agency networks, they want to go after this MSME market. But the problem is they have never served it. They don't have the infrastructure to it. They don't know how to move fast pace into that segment. And they probably, I think, may struggle also to serve the client's demands. Like they don't have the window of 6 months, 1 year to deliver results, right? Which usually happen on the ground. So these big agency networks, they know that they can't serve it with the current infrastructure. So they're building their own technology. That's the whole story. And they're betting on it. I don't know whether it is possible or not, but I think that's what everyone is aiming for.
But I think I have another perspective to it, right? If WPP is not able to do it itself, I think somewhat I agree on that. Yeah, they don't have the DNA to serve MSMEs, right? But agencies like Exor Labs, agencies who are smaller, right? They can serve this new ad spend with the help of AI.
Exactly.
And then WPP do what it is doing for the past, I think, 50 years.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, it will buy them out.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. That's what they're going to do, I think. Right. They want to start in his marketing career, her marketing career. What is their approach should be in a world where the AI is completely dominating the operations in house, outhouse?
I think he has an edge. Maybe I'm too optimistic about him, but I think he doesn't have to learn a lot of things to unlearn later. So why I'm saying this is a lot of processes today in terms of media buying, in terms of creative processes, I think they are completely done by AI. Not the whole deliverable, but I'm saying part of the process. So a new guy who's entering into the system, he doesn't have to learn the whole process. He can look at it and say, boss, it's a 5-step process. 2 steps can be done by AI, 3 I will learn.
Yeah.
Right? It's easier for him. On the other hand, a person who joined the force 3 years back, he learned 5-step process, and now he has to forget the 2 because he has this compulsion that I have to do it manually.
Right. And I also feel that is the very same reason I also personally feel that someone who is just entering the workforce, they're better at using AI tools. However, I feel that a lot of people are also trying to game it. I've been on or seen at least clips where the people who are appearing for interview, they have AI open in the right side of their screen and they're using ChatGPT to kind of answer questions. So those things are happening. I think people have gotten smarter. But I think eventually karma catches up with you. Like you can't try it hide the reality. Like it will become apparent the moment you join the workforce. But I personally feel one of the biggest skill set in this particular atmosphere is going to be how well you can frame questions. Right. The whole AI structure, the way it is structured right now is what you can ask. Can you ask like in a way that gets you answers which you really need, and once you've gotten those answers, the next layer is can you pick something which you feel is good for you, right? A lot of people are calling it taste. I simply call it learned experience. Like the more you have experience, the better you know this thing is going to work. Like if someone in my company who has, let's say, worked for 8 years, 10 years, he knows what to actually pick out of the 10 things which have come up. And which brings me to the third thing. I feel that someone who has expertise and is using AI will always outperform someone who is using AI has no expertise.
Interesting.
And the reason is plainly simple that he can like differentiate between, let's say, the noise and the substance. Someone who is just starting up, he would just want to get the things done. I mean, that's my assumption. That's how I
No, I think that's a very interesting point, and I agree, and I will double down on the point you just said, the first point you just said about people not knowing what to ask. So I have been interacting a lot of tech enthusiasts, a lot of early adopters, and one thing I'm consistently noticing about them is they have this, a power horse in their hands where they can ask anything about marketing. But if you ask them what you need to know about your marketing, they are clueless. The only thing most of them think about is how to improve performance, and I think that is a very open-ended, very blunt question to ask. Right? It has no substance.
Correct.
There are steps to it, and you need to figure that out.
Correct.
And second point you mentioned is an experienced guy might pick which is noise and which is relevant to him.
Correct.
Because a lot of AI answers are not to the point; they are very detailed. So you need to be actually have that skill set to see that what I can pick and use, right? So I think I am absolutely on board with you on that. That as a person who is working in the industry, if I can use AI to my benefit, definitely I will outperform 2 guys. One who is also in the same boat, also have the same experience but not using AI. Second, who is using the AI but has no experience, right? So I think he's definitely going to outperform the both of them.
AI has, let's say, first surfaced into the market. It's been almost, I think, 4 or 5 years. And it's been, I think, 2 years since we did our first podcast on AI. How has things changed in your personal life? What are the things you use it for? Work, in person, like whatever you want to answer.
Right. So I think one bigger change that has happened on my personal front is that whenever I need to have a complex question to answer or a complex thing to search for, I'll
Can
just
you just also just to make the whole conversation very interesting? How do you
Hmm.
define complex?
I'll come to that.
Yeah, yeah.
So earlier I was doing Google search. Now I'm going to my Perplexity, where I can have Google Gemini Pro and I can ask that question. Now I'll start with an example. So yesterday I had this Ayurvedic tablet where I have 5-6 ingredients, right? So I was searching each one of them individually on Google, and suddenly I realized why I'm doing that. I clicked the photo, I gave it to a Gemini, and I asked it, what are the ingredients?
Yeah.
Why it has prescribed to me, right? What can be the side effects? It searched all the data points, and eventually I got the result. So now the debatable thing is how accurate is this and that. But that thing was always there when I was using the Google search,
True.
right? But the work was done under 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It would have taken me 20 minutes to do that.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So I think this has the fundamental shift that has happened over the last 2 years in my personal space, where I'm inclined to search more on rather than Google.
Yeah.
Right. And on the on the professional front, I'm using a lot of PPT creation, a lot of meta ad account audit, a lot of you can say a lot of media buying audits, a lot of strategy audits, or maybe suggestions I'm doing with the help of AI now. And I think it's much more easy because I was never a fan of the dashboards. They are heavy. It take 10 clicks to get one answer,
Yeah,
right? I'm more of a guy who knows what he wants. So
Yeah.
I don't have that problem that we mentioned earlier. I know what I'm going to ask. I have my questions ready. So when you have questions
Yeah.
clearly defined, then I think AI is your best friend.
Correct. And I think in last 2 years, a lot of things has changed. So one thing that you mentioned, I want to pick. People are changing that behavior from search to actual chat GPT, and I'm seeing also in my younger cousins who are probably in their early 20s. The way they used to, I even don't use that. So if they have a series of questions to ask, they never go on Google. For me, one of the best tool, I would just say it on camera. So if you're listening to this Gamma team, just remember that this is a testimonial live here on the podcast. Your tool is just awesome, and it has saved us tons of hours, my creative team as well as my business development team. I think that's all I wanted to say. But that tool has been lifesaver. I no longer want to go to Microsoft PowerPoint, do things. It saves me ton of hours. Because if you look at it again from the agency perspective, a lot of pitching is also I think perception building. It's also about creating that story, which is nice, and that's why a lot of effort also goes on building the nice decks. But Gamma builds nice deck in less time, plus you can control the story faster. So if I can execute that story that I could create in 1 week, now I can do it in 1 day. It's a great solution, and I think that's where my money is going right now, Gamma team.
I think that's a perfect solution, and I tried it. It works well.
This also brings me how I personally write, right? So I write a lot of content and also scripts for my Instagram videos. I never use AI to write it. Never. I have never done that. I tried 1 or 2, but the scripts it give me, somehow it does not suit me, and I never loved them. So I may use it for editing, but I have never used for writing because I'm so used to my style and my own taste.
You don't spend 2 days to come up with an idea and another 3 days to put that idea on paper.
Yeah.
Right. So I think AI is helpful for someone like me who need 2 days to write,
Yeah.
because where I can think of
Yeah.
something good and I can say that okay, it will take a lot of time for me to write. What if I can cut that time and write that same thing in under 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right?
But if I look at from that perspective, it's helpful for so many people who wanted to write but couldn't. And also sometimes writing is also drudgery, right? You have to write your email starting with hi, hope this email finds you well. You don't want to write that sentence again and again to 10 people in a day.
And also that brings me to another point, and I'm very curious to know the answer. If you're not using it for writing, what is the most or what is the best activity you are using it for?
So that's something which I haven't revealed to a lot of people. It's very personal. I'm using it to study neurology right now, right? And for very personal reasons. But it's fascinating because it gives you the answers based on a lot of research papers that will take you so many years to figure out. And by the way, I'm also doing a Coursera course along with it on neurology, right? Which gives me a very good blend. But at the same time, what I find is the neurology course, and this is student me answering the question right now. So if I am reading and I have to do a peer study sitting in a classroom where there are, let's say, 50, 100 people, right? It's possible. But imagine if you're doing an online course and you have no one to talk to. You have no teacher who can answer your questions on the whim. You don't have a community who can go and answer your questions, and there are people you can't discuss. You have a person in the room that you can discuss with all of your questions that you have in your head. So that completely solves everything for you. So that is going to empower a lot of people who want to ready for fun, right?
Right.
I think that's very empowering.
I think that also proves the thing we were talking about. So you are not using it for writing because you are really good at it. You are using it to learn something which you are not good at.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe AI will really help two kind of people. One, where you want to learn something new, or you are average in it, and you know that you need a companion to help you punch above your weight.
Yeah.
Right. The second kind of people, where they just want to chill in their life, and they know that, okay, if I can use AI and I can get the 90% of the output I'll be getting myself,
Yeah.
by spending 3 to 4 hours doing the same thing. Let's use AI let's use AI and save that 2.5 hours.
Yes. I mean, it does, yes. I mean, in a way, deck example as I gave you, where we have to create decks and pitches, it saves us a lot of time. But before we end this, any closing remark, anything that you want to say out to the audience related to, let's say, any remark on the future, for a lack
Wow.
of better word, right?
So I think future will be unpredictable. People who spend enough time to upskill, people who spend enough time on themselves, people who spend enough time to learn a new technology, they'll find something. They'll be good.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, I think that was fun conversation. I think I also brought a lot of personal stuff into this discussion, which I usually avoid. So and I think we should do the next discussion on this. There are a lot of pointers I want to discuss regarding creatives, which will be discussed in the next podcast. So stay tuned for it, and I hope you enjoyed this one.
Yeah, and I think we should be doing a lot more podcast. We were not able to do so in the last 12 months or so. I think we should do it maybe every 15 days or so. Yeah.
All right, bye guys.
Thank you.